right here is the land of nothingness. And right there in that car, well, that's Tom and Joy. They've been shopping around for a house for a while now. But due to a bunch of realtors that are trying to take their money for houses that are not great, they've come to me in desperate need of help because they not only need a house for themselves, but also a baby that is on the way. So in this video, I will have to make them the dream house, the perfect dream house. One that has a kitchen and a living room and a laundry room, but also really cool stuff like a hot tub. And of course, a porch that overlooks an amazing view. And we have to do all of this in 1 week before the baby is due. So I say we better get started with digging what every home needs, a well. And you can believe I tried pretty much all the options there are to digging a well. Until, finally, you could just see it on their plastic faces. They can already see this home coming together. And we are here wasting time. We need to step on it. So I am now building the foundation. This part over here will be our garage. And I'm really trying to make this part big because with 2 people, you need enough room for 2 cars. And I think that looks great. But what's more important is the house right now. So Tom and Joy wanted the house part of this a little more levitated. So I raised it about 3 bricks higher than the actual garage part. And to get up there, I added a few steps. And just to make sure that no one falls off the front here, I'm going to add this rail. And while I was moving on to the next step, Tom and Joy had a problem with their car. And while I don't know what's wrong with their car, Tom and Joy have an appointment that they're late for. So we have to build them a car. And now that they have one, they can get to their appointment and we can get back on building the house. So going back to the garage here, I'm going to build this frame that leaves 2 openings for 2 doors, using the same brick technique that we used on the foundation for the house. And behind that, I went ahead and built the part that keeps the garage door in place. And now, if we connect a bunch of these clear pieces, we'll have our garage doors. But we still need a wall around the garage. And so I built up the garage using these white bricks. And I added a door and a few windows just to give it that homey feel. But we're gonna need some stuff inside the garage if he's gonna fix his car. So I went ahead and built this toolbox, filled that with all kinds of tools. I placed that on that side. Then I built this cool workbench that has pegs to hold up his tools. I decided to put that right next to the toolbox there. And after that, I added this mini refrigerator. That way, he'll always have a cold soda on one of those hot summer days. But we can't be littering, so I did add this trash can too. And with that, I added a roof on top and our garage is complete. And then I quickly realized after building the garage that the landscape needs some serious work. So I added this black mulch all the way around the garage using these dark Lego pieces. I then surrounded the mulch with a lot of these studs, which serve as rocks. I added some Lego flowers and then called it good. But then I realized that we have a problem. It's getting dark. Tom and Joy are gonna need somewhere to stay, and I haven't even started on the actual house. So the best solution I could come up with was to build them a tent, just to stay in a couple nights until I get the house finished. I did put 2 beds in there for them, and outside I built this cozy little campfire. And around that, I put 2 seats and of course some sticks to cook some marshmallows with, just in case they get hungry. Wow, looking at this, I can't even tell which one's gonna be cozier, the campfire or the house itself. I don't know yet, but Tom and Joy really seemed to enjoy that campfire when they got back. This means that I have to try extra hard tomorrow to make this house absolutely perfect, or they might not like it. And speaking of, it is now day 2 of our incredible house building journey, and the goal is to build the living room, the kitchen, and the laundry room all today. But as you can imagine, we have other problems. So this morning, I made Tom his own personal fishing pond, and while he loved it so much that he stayed out there all morning, a mountain lion that lived nearby also liked that pond very much. And as you can imagine, this scared Joy pretty well. Tom is talking to her right now, but this means that we have to get this house done. So over on this left side, I am building the living room. I'm gonna build with the same white bricks that we used for the garage. And the idea for the face of the house, I wanted to add a bunch of windows. That way you can look out and flex on all the money you don't have. Well, at least they don't have any money because they gave it all to me to build this house. But moving on, I did make them this cozy little Lego couch. And it fits really well right there in the living room, along with this 100-inch TV. Yeah, you can bet they're not gonna have any problems seeing that. And I think we all know that every cozy living room has to have a fireplace. And lastly, I did build this one last chair, this lamp, which, you know, what living room doesn't have a lamp? And a bunch of random pictures on the walls of people that they don't know. And that basically sums up the living room. Got a nice little fire going in here, the couch is all comfy, but they still can't sleep inside tonight because they don't have a roof. And I hear we're in for some pretty bad weather. So unfortunately, it's back in the tent for them tonight. And I think I'll hit the old sack myself. I'll be seeing you on day 3. That night, the storms did come in. The creek started rising along with trees falling over. You can imagine Joy wasn't happy when she got up, especially when she saw this. Ooh, it's a good thing I built that cage the night before. Joy seemed to be very happy knowing that this mountain lion had been transported miles away from their home. She could finally get her rest, and Tom, well, he could finally enjoy his fishing. Now, as for me, I'm getting on the laundry room. The laundry room and kitchen are side by side back here. And as you would expect, the sooner we get those two done, the sooner we can be done with this first floor and get onto the bedrooms upstairs. So for the laundry room, I built this washer and dryer, added this hamper for clothes, then I added some shelves in this room just in case they need to keep any storage in there. And that basically sums up the laundry room. And for the kitchen, I'm using the same flooring here. Now this is Joy's personal space. Tom has his garage and she has her kitchen. So we have to make this really special for her, just like we made the garage special for Tom. So let's make some nice kitchen counters here. Add some drawers on those there. Let's go ahead and add the stove and refrigerator. It's already looking so nice. She's gonna be very happy with this, especially if we add some extra cabinets up on top. And on these little hooks here, we can add a pan, this knife, a fork, and a spoon, of course. It also needs a microwave up here. And now that we have all that done, let's surround the kitchen and laundry room with walls. And as a finishing touch, I added this island along with 2 stools. Tom had his own idea and put some flowers in there for Joy. Oh yeah, he knows how to work it. All you guys out there, you need to be taking tips from him. But this brings us to the end of day 3. On day 4, I added this staircase in the living room that leads to the 2nd floor. And speaking of the 2nd floor, we need to build that floor, as in the actual flooring. I did start this process by building the coolest little overhead. That way you could step outside on one of those cold, rainy mornings with your cup of coffee and not get wet. And speaking of staying dry, I went ahead and layered this floor across the first layer of the house. But we still need to knock out a space there for the stairs. And right then, I heard this. Tom knew it the second he heard it. The baby was unexpectedly coming early. So he got her in the car and he drove off like a madman to that hospital. And with the baby on the way, I had to dart right back on the house. So on the 2nd floor here, I decided to go with a couple balconies, one on the right side and one on the left side. And for this one on the left side, I'm gonna keep it pretty basic. But for this one on the right side, I wanted to kind of wrap around the house so that they have more room to walk around out there. The staircase comes up here, so my idea is that we use this as a hallway. And right over here, at the end of their hallway, will be a perfect spot for their bathroom. So I went ahead and put the floor down, added this shower, this sink, and of course a toilet. I then put up these walls to close up the bathroom. I also put up some decorations like this lantern and this mirror that doesn't really do its job, but it'll have to work. I then proceeded to make the baby's room. This room was very important as it needs to be very comfortable for this baby to sleep in. We'll need to make a very comfy crib, some toys like this little train, this teddy bear, and a few other toys. And I think that looks pretty good, so let's close that room up. And lastly, for the 2nd floor, we do have the master bedroom. I started off with making this king-size bed, which is absolutely needed for a master bedroom. And beside of their bed, I added a couple of these mini tables with lamps on them. And while they're sitting in bed, they might want to watch TV. So this room is now finished. But as soon as I built up the walls, I got a call from Tom saying that they're already coming home with the baby. And as soon as I heard the news, I hurried to finish the roof. And of course, the hot tub that I promised them. And when they got here, it was like love at plastic sight. They were all so happy with their new home. So much that Tom didn't even go fishing that day. Be sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I'll see you then.